Many of you have seen the first version of CRT Pro, but I have been working on this update for a long time, and I really wanted to make it perfect. Now it's finally here. I have overhauled the logic to make sure your analysis is faster than your morning espresso. I have also added some great new features that will make your trading much better. Let's jump into the chart and I will show you what's new. Okay guys, let's start this video. I have opened the settings, and first the settings for sequential SMT divergence, change, state of delivery, and fair volume gap are the same as before. No changes there, so we can keep using them as usual. Next, let's talk about total wick soup and total body soup section. Let's break down each of these terms and what they actually mean. First, total wick soup. In simple terms, it is a swing sweep by wick of the candle. The price goes above a swing high or below a swing low, but it cannot stay there. It leaves a long wick and snaps back. And basically, after confirmation, we can expect a reversal. As you can see, the indicator automatically marks this level, and many traders love combining these patterns with their own approach. And total body soup works on the same idea, but with one key difference. Instead of just a wick, the price actually breaks through the swing level with the full body of the candle. So at first glance, it looks like a real breakout. But instead of continuing in the true direction, the price completely reverses and snaps back the other way. Essentially, it's a false breakout. A lot of breakout traders who jump into expanding continuation would have gotten stopped out right there. That's why we call it manipulation move. And I improved the logic to help you see this zone more clearly and pay attention to more external swing points. In the settings, you can change the color of the lines and hide the text that keep chart more cleaner. Now let's talk about the CRT section. I spent a lot of time improving the logic here. I realized that old version had some patterns that weren't high quality, so I decided to fix that. The first update is the A+ CRT filter. This is a strict filter for the second candle. When you turn it on, the indicator only shows models that follow the rules based on the previous candle range. For example, look at the chart. The A+ filter checks the price range. If a candle is too big or moves too far outside the range, the indicator will ignore it. It only picks the models that form in the right place and some conditions. Next is the session filter. This is mostly for traders who use the 1 hour time frame or lower time frame patterns. If you trade on high time frame, you don't really need this. But for intraday trading, timing is everything. This filter only shows CRT models that form inside specific time windows. I have picked the most volatile hours, the London session from 2 to 5 a.m. and the New York session from 9:30 to 11 a.m. These are the time when the volatility is significantly higher, and for intraday or scalpers, it's very important to know when to trade. Look what happens when I turn this filter on. Many models disappear. Why? Because they formed outside of these sessions. By using this, you focus only on the models that form during the session. And I think it's a great way to avoid fake moves during slow market hours. Another update is the 0.5 line, also known as the equilibrium. Many CRT traders requested this feature because they use the 15% level of a main candle for their analysis. If you need it, you will see a gray line in the middle of the range. If you don't need it, you can simply turn it off in the settings to keep your chart clean. Now let's clear up the difference between show CRT and pending CRT. When show SRT is on, the indicator only displays models that are already finished and the second candle that triggers the SRT pattern is closed. The pattern is confirmed. And you can see it in the history, and uncompleted models appear with the opposite colored line. But pending CRT is different. This is for models where the second candle is still forming. It hasn't closed yet, so the pattern isn't fully confirmed. The indicator shows you this in advance, so you can prepare, but keep in mind, until that candle closes, the setup can still invalidate. Think of pending CRT as an early heads up and show SRT as a confirmed signal. And as you can notice, pending models come with a built-in timer that shows you exactly how much time is left until the candle closes. Now let's move on what I think is the most exciting update, the upgraded bias table. As you may notice, the table shows the bias based on the close of the previous candle. First, I redesigned the table itself to make it much more informative and easier to read. But more importantly, I added a few powerful sections that speed up your analysis. First, you will see a window that displays the current session. The table tracks all major sessions: Asia, London, New York AM, lunch, and PM. So at any moment, you know exactly which session you are, because many beginners confused about the time and what current trading session. Next, I added a macro window tracker. The macro window is considered the most volatile period inside any sessions. It covers the 15 minutes before the top of the hour and the 15 minutes after it. So a 30-minute window centered around each session hour change. Why did I add this? Honestly, because of my own trading. Personally, I only open position during these macro windows. Based on my statistics, I noticed that entries inside these windows have a significantly higher win rate compared to entries outside of them. You instantly know when to look for entries, not just what to look for. Here is a practical example. Let's say you spot a CRT model that formed on the 1 hour time frame. In this example, we can see that a 1 hour CRT was formed. Then, during the macro window, the price formed a change state of delivery. And as you can see in the table, there is a check mark indicating that we are currently inside an active macro window. So overall, you can use this approach if it resonates with you and adds clarity to your trading. But if it feels like it's overcomplicating things or doesn't fit your style, that's totally fine, just skip it. Every trader is unique and I don't want to overload you with any extra tools. If you already have a method that works for you, just stick with it. The macro window is just one of my weapons in my arsenal. Use it only if it sharpens your edge. Next, you will notice I added a brand new checklist section. This checklist is designed to help you analyze any setup more faster. At the top of the checklist, you will see the basic information about the setup, the type of model that formed bullish or bearish, and where the liquidity has been swept. As soon as CRT forms, the indicator automatically tracks whether there was a manipulation move, meaning did we get a total wick sweep or total body sweep. And at the bottom of the checklist, you will see a grade of the setup. It is classify every CRT into one of three tiers: B, A, and A+. Let's go through each of one so you can know exactly what you are looking for. First, B setup. A CRT pattern formed on the chart. The market created the structure, but nothing else has confirmed it yet. In overall, it's when we see just CRT without liquidity confirmation and without bias alignment. Then A setup. This is when the CRT forms and the market sweeps liquidity in the same direction. And one more condition, you also need to be inside an active session. In overall, a setup is CRT plus liquidity confirmation and active session. And the last one, A plus setup. CRT formed during London or New York AM session, plus liquidity sweep plus bias alignment. These two sessions matter because it has more volume than another sessions. And on the top of that, the bias agrees with what the CRT is doing. Let me show you some examples to make it more clear for understanding. So let's pay attention to this example. Here we have a CRT model that formed on the 1 hour time frame. The first thing you will notice is that we also got a total body sweep formed right there. So the market already showed us a manipulation move and liquidity got swept. That's our first confirmation, but we don't enter just yet. The next thing we need to wait for confirmation, change, state of delivery, or market structure shift. After some time, you can see that price actually broke structure. And importantly, this happened inside the macro window. That's exactly the kind of timing we want. Now let's check the bias table. Pay attention here. The bias is bullish. We got our confirmation inside the macro window and we have the liquidity sweep behind us. All three conditions line up perfectly, which means we have a clean green light to open a long position. So let's open the position. Our stop loss will be below the swing low and take profit to opposite CRT line. This is exactly the kind of confluence I look for: sweep, timing, and bias alignment. Now let's break down second example. As you can see, a CRT formed during the London session. Already a good start because London is one of our kill zones. Now pay attention to the bias table. Both biases are showing bullish. That alone tells us we have strong potential here because the high time frame direction agrees with what we are seeing on the chart. Okay, look at this. We got just about the perfect confirmation. We had the manipulation move plus confirmation right inside the macro window. Honestly, this is probably the cleanest A+ setup you can ask for. Sweep, market structure confirmation, right time, and bias all stake together. You can comfortably enter the position because every single box on the checklist is checked. This is exactly the kind of trade you wait for. Okay, so let's move to another example. So, this is another example. Here you can see that a model formed on the chart, and there is something extra worth noticing. A divergence that formed right during the manipulation. That's an additional confluence that a lot of traders love to use. After that, we got a really clean confirmation, and this is exactly why I keep emphasizing the macro window so much, because you can so often find high quality interest inside it. Take a closer look at this example. Right inside the macro window, the price came up to fill the balance on the market. And that's where the reversal kicked off. The setup itself is solid, but I'll be honest, I usually don't trade during this time of the session myself, so I would let this one go based on my own rules. But if it fits your style, it's still a clean trade. And by the way, if you like combining CRT models with divergence, you can turn this on the settings. The indicator will automatically show you divergence between cycles, so you don't have to spot it manually. It's just one more tool to help you filter for the highest quality setup. Alright, that's a full breakdown of everything new in this update. And now for those who haven't gotten CRT Pro yet and want to start using it. Let me quickly walk you through the way you can find all the information. Everything you need is to visit our website. The link will also be in the description below or in the description of the channel. Once you're on the site, you'll find all the details about the indicator, a full list of features, pricing options, payment methods, and step-by-step instructions on how to get access after the pushes. There is also a section that explains how to add the indicator to your TradingView account. So even if you have never used the custom indicators before, the process is super simple. Just follow the guide and you will be set up in a couple of minutes. If you have any questions before purchasing, don't worry, all the contact information is on the website as well, so you can reach out directly and we will help you out. And in the end of the video, I really believe that this update will make your trading more faster, sharper, and more comfortable. Thank you for your time, see you in the next video, good luck in trading.